Hi, I'm Corey, one of LiveSecurity's analysts. Today, the LiveSecurity team noticed an email arriving in a lot of people's inboxes saying it was coming from US Bank. We took a look at the email and figured out it was a phishing email. We thought we might share some tips to help you recognize what these phishing emails look like. Let's take a look. At first glance, this email appears to come from US Bank. It asks that you confirm your banking data by clicking the provided link. This alone should make you suspect this email, since most banks never request these sorts of banking details randomly via email. Next, let's look at the link we see in the email. While the link starts with US Bank, it appears to go to a domain called ebankingservices.com. I would expect a link from US Bank to go to usbank.com. Furthermore, links to sensitive banking data should happen securely. This link starts with HTTP rather than HTTPS, telling me the link does not use a secure connection. This email already looks pretty suspicious, and we haven't even looked at the source code that generates it. Looking at the email source code, we can see the real URL the link redirects you to. I'll paste it to Notepad so you can see it better. Looking at this source tag, I can see that the link showing in the HTML email was a front for the real link, which goes to a domain in Hong Kong. I really doubt US Bank, emphasis on the US, keeps their secure online banking servers in Hong Kong. Looking at the source a bit more, I can also see the body of the email was a GIF image. Here it is. This phisher probably created this as an image-based email to help it get past spam filters. So here's one other interesting tidbit. Buried within the source of this email was a little message. We can only speculate whether the hacker's trying to tell us something or whether this was just his way of trying to trick spam filters. But let's take a look at it. In short, the message outlines the general geography of Klang, a state in Malaysia, and mentions chastisement for the assassination of a British man. Obviously, it has no place in a legitimate US Bank email. Finally, I'm going to visit this malicious phishing site just to show you what it looks like. Please don't do this yourself. Any site that hosts a malicious phishing attack could just as easily host a drive-by download. As soon as I hit the phishing site, I get a pop-up warning me that it's a suspected web forgery. This message comes from Firefox 2's built-in anti-phishing feature. Internet Explorer 7 has this type of feature too, and I recommend you pay attention to its warnings. However, for now, let's ignore it. I'll go ahead and fill in this sign-on request with some fake credentials. The phisher is capturing everything I enter, so if I used my real US Bank credentials, he'd know my sign-on. This next page asks me for more personal information, such as the company I work for, the state I live in, and my email address. But look at the bottom of this page. It says my connection is secured, but that's just a graphic. If you look at the URL for this page, it says HTTP instead of HTTPS, which tells me it is not secured. This is another tip-off that this page isn't legitimate. I hope these tips help you catch the next phishing email. However, this example no longer represents the state-of-the-art in phishing technology. Clever phishers use much more sophisticated techniques that are harder to detect, so be careful with the email. If there's an email message that you're concerned with but you want to follow up on, don't click the link in the email. Rather, open your web browser and manually type the URL you're trying to visit. For ongoing security analysis, you should also check out our podcast, Radio Free Security, on iTunes. See you on the wire.